Welcome to News9 and you are watching On Point with me. Today, we decode Prime Minister Narendra Modi's stern message to Pakistan. What will India do next after its diplomatic strike? In his first speech following the Pahalgam terror attack, Prime Minister Narendra Modi sent a stern warning to terrorists. Speaking at a rally in Bihar, he said that those responsible for the attack in Pahalgam will be punished beyond imagination, and India will pursue terrorists and their backers to the ends of the earth.
हमला सिर्फ निहत्थे पर्यटकों पर नहीं हुआ है। देश के दुश्मनों ने भारत की आत्मा पर हमला करने का दुस्साहस किया है। मैं बहुत स्पष्ट शब्दों में कहना चाहता हूं, जिन्होंने ये हमला किया है, उन आतंकियों को और इस हमले की साजिश रचने वालों को उनकी कल्पना से भी बड़ी सजा मिलेगी। सजा मिलकर के रहेगी। अब आतंकियों की बची खुची जमीन को भी मिट्टी में मिलाने का समय आ गया है। 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की इच्छा शक्ति अब आतंकी आकाओं की कमर तोड़ कर रहेगी। 22 अप्रैल को जम्मू कश्मीर के पहलगाम में आतंकियों ने मासूम देशवासियों को जिस बेरहमी से मारा है, उससे पूरा देश व्यथित है। कोटि कोटि देशवासी दुखी हैं। सभी पीड़ित परिवारों के इस दुख में पूरा देश उनके साथ खड़ा है। टुडे, from the soil of Bihar, I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism. Terrorism will not go unpunished. Every effort will be made to ensure that justice is done. The entire nation is firm in this resolve. Everyone who believes in humanity is with us. I thank the people of various countries and their leaders who have stood with us in these times.
I'm joined by General Syed Atta Hasnain, former General Officer commanding 15 Corps. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. And on the right side of my screen, I'll show you what India has done and what are the reciprocal measures that have come into effect. But let me straight away ask this question to General first. So what are India's options? What we have done in last 24 hours is to exercise a lot of non-kinetic options. What kinetic options or the military operation options, if I may ask you bluntly, can be considered?
See, Karthikeyan, the thing is very clear. First of all, as a serviceman who has served 40 years in the army, I wish to tell everyone the Indian Army has a clear system. We don't talk offensive operations, even within house. So to speak publicly on offensive operations, I think is anathema. But having said that, I can always explain certain aspects. I think the actions which have happened in the last 24 hours in particular, starting from the meeting of the CCS and the decisions taken thereafter, primarily is to create a window of opportunity for India. It is not necessary for us to have knee-jerk reactions. Those who thought that within 24 hours India will hit back and hit back without thinking, in a situation in which Pakistan is completely prepared, it has put all its forces on alert. That is not our intent, I'm sure. So a window of opportunity has been created. A diplomatic campaign has begun, very well begun, with all the necessary steps. The IWT, Indus Water Treaty, is something which hurts Pakistan, and we've already seen the reactions from Pakistan. It's a water deficit country. In fact, the issue of Kashmir largely hinges on the availability of water for Pakistan in the future. So the right thing has been chosen, the right button has been pressed here to make sure that Pakistan feels it. At the same time, a window has been left for Pakistan's yet. In the sense, we have not abrogated it like Article 370. We have only held it in abeyance or suspended it. It means that we can always revisit and go back to it and invoke it again, subject to Pakistan's own behavior and its attitude towards our demands on terrorism. So all this has been done at the same time. The Prime Minister has begun a very strong tirade of statements, messaging which is going on to the world. His choice of words, his decision to speak in English, just like the way he spoke in Australia, where he also wanted to convey a message to the world at that particular time. The similar option he has chosen this time.
Sir,
And I think that has gone very well. That message has gone very well.
So
So
you-
it is messaging, information, diplomacy, all that is working. The kinetics will come and they will come in their due time.
sir, your reaction to the reciprocal measures taken by Pakistan and the statement that has come from Islamabad that the stopping of water would be considered an act of war.
I think we should be very clear, and I'm sure the MEA or someone in the government of India will convey that attacking Pulwama, attacking Uri, attacking Pahalgam with the help of proxies is a greater act of war than anything that India has done so far. We have only held in abeyance the Indus Water Treaty. And already the effect is going on Pakistan. They are making statements which they should think twice before making. So I think that is very, very clear.
Sir, what do you think is the escalation matrix this time? If you look at 2016 and 2019, there was a surprise element. First was the surgical strike, and second was a missile strike followed by interception, a dogfight which perhaps took place after 1971. So what sort of escalation ladder are you looking at, sir?
Obviously, I'm not expecting a repetition of the same measures which have already been taken earlier. That, it sort of goes against all aspects of surprise.
Yes.
So the surprise factor, which is an essential principle of war, will be followed. And it will come in due course. It is not necessary to keep the window of 10 days, 12 days, or 15 days. It could be elongated. I would say keeping Pakistan in a state of mobilization, keeping its reserves deployed. Its reserves have already been moved, as we learned, and keeping them deployed in this particular fashion is going to cost them. In a nation which is going for the 24th time to the IMF, every dollar counts. So everything that India is doing is making a difference, is making an effect, and is definitely going against Pakistan.
So how are we positioned? Because now India is also looking at two hostile borders simultaneously, post Galwan, and you have served in Kashmir.
See, Kati, this is not just two borders. I would even start looking at three borders because even the Eastern Front has
Absolutely.
become
Absolutely.
virtually become not an active border, but it has certain developments which are awkward as far as our security is concerned. But coming back to the issue of the two front has always existed. I am happy to see that 4 years 4.5 years after Galwan, the situation is better. I'm not saying that it has completely gone back to the better days, but definitely it has improved from what it was in 2020, 21. And we had taken our eyes, I think, to some extent, at least in the security domain, among the security community, we had tended to take our eyes a little off the western borders. If you really look at Delhi, the seminars which are conducted in Delhi, the think tanks which keep sitting day and night in these various areas here, all had switched to discussing the northern borders. They were discussing technologies. They were discussing Atmanirbharta and things like that. It seemed as if Pakistan did not exist all of a sudden. But I think Pakistan has given us a message that it does exist. And this is what exactly it is trying to do, to establish its relevance in our eyes. To that extent, maybe yes, it has made us wake up to the fact that we have yet to contend with this border, but we have stabilized our northern border to a great extent. The issue of the eastern border was just a mention, so I won't go into a discussion on that.
So, when we talk about Pakistan as an adversary, the first thing which comes to our mind is that have we been able successfully to change the behavior of the Pakistani state or the Pakistani army? Look at what has Israel done in Gaza. The cost of the attack has been so much, there is no Gaza. In South Lebanon, there is no Hezbollah. And the leaders are not safe anyway from Damascus to Tehran.
I think these are two very, very diametrically opposite situations, and they need not be compared. I think most strategic analysts will agree with me to say that these are not comparable.
So
Having said that, I would also say that Israel has not won this war. Neither has Russia won this war. These wars are going to continue for long, and ceasefires and situations of discussions between various adversaries may not ultimately lead to peace. Having said that, our situation is a difficult one. For 36 years, we have been fighting a proxy war.
Okay.
A proxy war in Kashmir, which is not the easiest of things to fight. Most people would say to fight a hybrid war, to fight a conventional war is still comparatively simpler. To fight 65 or 71, I would say was simpler. But to fight a hybrid war is a very, very difficult thing. We have not been able to totally succeed, but we have reduced Pakistan's capability to a great extent.
Okay, very quickly, sir, before I let go of you, every military action, as a general, you would also agree, must have a political objective. Correct, sir?
Absolutely.
So, if there is a military action, what should be the political objective this time, sir?
The political objective should clearly be a change of attitude of Pakistan. It has to be forced to change its attitude towards the support of proxy war in Jammu and Kashmir. That is absolutely clear. So the cost imposed on Pakistan should be so intense that Pakistan is forced to come down to accepting this.
I think that's where we both of us agree, sir. Thank you so much. Syed Atta Hussain, for making time for News9 on this issue. Yes, the cost has to be inflicted on Pakistan, and it should be so heavy that the Pakistan should think every time, twice, thrice, number of times before it encourages terrorists or directs terror activities inside India. But India too has taken a very big step.